Welcome to Yoga with Cynthia. I'm Cynthia Bialik. I'm both the host and the producer for this program. And Irene Faithful is here to join me. We are going to be providing you a basic inversion class. And this class comes from a request that we received online. And we thought it had a lot of value because we don't focus much on inversions. But we're going to also discuss the reason why we don't. As well, and the contraindications that can come from practicing inversions. And so with that said, for those of you who are viewing today that have high blood pressure or hypertension, and you're not sure if you should practice the inversions today, please don't. Please just watch today's show for its content and then decide with your physician whether this practice is appropriate for you and your condition. But we're going to start an easy pose here. Inversions are basically taking the head below the heart, okay? We can do a basic inversion when we do our downward facing dogs. We can do a basic inversion when we do a widespread fold. We could also do inversions when we just take the legs up the wall. The value that inversions have for the practitioner is that when you take, for example, the legs up the wall, you're allowing the blood to come back to the heart, okay? So you're temporarily reducing your blood pressure with the legs up the wall. But with that said, for some people, they do not want to do that. And so I just want to leave it up to you whether you feel it's appropriate for your level. But we're actually going to start today with a little warming up of the body. We're going to start on our knees, and we're going to start with a basic low dog position. So for those of you that are starting out with yoga and you're very new to it, please join us for the first part of the class today. And then as it may get a little bit more complicated, you can decide what's appropriate and what's not. But because this is basic inversion, we are going to give lots of options for you to be comfortable in the pose. So we're going to start by just warming up the body. I want us to roll back and forth on our sitting bones. And I want you to take your arms out from the shoulders and just place those middle fingers down. We're going to flip the hands so they're facing up. So we start to stretch the chest. Then we're going to bring those hands forward to the very front of your mat. Stretch the back and tuck your chin into the chest. Let's open the chest. Reach back, lift the rib cage here. Let's bring the hands forward and tuck your chin and reach out. Once again, bring the arms back, lift your chest here. Exhale forward and drop that head down. Now let's lift the chest up high. Take your right arm up in the air and then reach back over the right shoulder and look there. Then take your right arm forward, take your left arm in the air and reach back over your left hip. And then bring your arms straight out from the shoulders and just roll those shoulders around a little bit. Now, if you have issues with your shoulders and you have tightness there, again, you can do this. You can also place your hands on the shoulders, and let's do it like this. Move them around. Sometimes the shorter the lever, the more comfortable. So you can decide how you want to do this. We're also going to stretch the lats a little bit. Let's grab those elbows and lift those elbows up in the air. And then we're going to bring the knees up and just give those legs a little hug. Bring the head into your knees and stretch the back. Now, as I said, we're going to start on the knees. So let's come up onto our knees. Now, if you need a softer surface, this is a soft foam, simulated hardwood. So we're good where we are. But if you need to protect your knees, go ahead and you can put a blanket or another kind of cushion underneath your knees. But make sure that your feet have a non-skid surface. We're going to place our hands on the very front end of our mat. And we're going to allow the head to drop between the elbows, keeping your hips over your knees. Just dropping that head down. Now, again, our head now is below the heart. So if you feel dizzy or lightheaded in any way, please come back up. But we're going to stay here, maintain this pose, and breathe deep in and out through the nose. Now we're going to take this opportunity to do a little greater shoulder stretch. So pick up the chin, drop the chest down, and just look forward over the front end of your mat. Puppy dog's pose. Just imagine trying to climb under a fence, sliding those arms forward, dropping the rib cage down towards the mat. Continue to breathe. Now we're going to walk our hands back so the heels of your hands are under your shoulders now. And we're going to curl our toes under, and we're going to come into a downward facing dog. So in down dog, our knees are off the floor. We shift our weight to our heels, and we bring the head down, stretching out the shoulders and the back. Continue to breathe there. And now we're going to take our left foot forward and keep our right foot down and just come to the right side of our mat. Now, I want you to crisscross the arms, grab the elbows, and try to bring the head down to your forearms, stretching out the back. So this is our first level inversion here. Those of you that want to try the headstand, it's fine if you want to give it a try. We're going to try a tripod first. So you're going to place your head on the right side of your mat, forehead's down. Place the hands on the left side of your mat, push down and lift your heels. If you feel the heels are coming up, you can push those heels out to the side and you're in a tripod. Just hold there. And if you feel you can, lift those legs all the way up in the air. Hang on to that. Then slowly pull the hips back. And return to that Prasarita Padottanasana. Let's come back to the front of your mat and just drop the head into your left leg. And let's step the feet back in that down dog, stretching out those shoulders, stretching out the back. And take your right foot forward. Turn to the left side of your mat. And again, elbows down. Now those of you that want to do a headstand with those hands down on the floor, you can do that as well. If it's easier for you, you can take one foot up at a time and stretch it up in the air. We've got a really slippery floor here. If you would like to try that, you can go ahead, and I'm going to do it this way. So you're going to bring those hips back over your heels. You can take one leg in the air if you choose. Bring the other up. And you can bring your feet together if you choose. And slowly come down. All right, let's return to our down dog. Let's pull back and stretch out that spine. Now, our approach to our inversion doesn't always have to be head down. So let's address it from the shoulders. So let's go ahead and cross those ankles. And this time, Irene's going to turn herself around so you can see all the different positions. First, we're going to use our block, And we're going to take that block under the pelvis. And we're going to bring those arms straight down from the shoulders and bring your legs straight up in the air. Now, this is like feet up the wall pose. It's supporting, the block is there to support your pelvis so that you can keep the natural curve to your low back. So that lumbar curve is there in your low back, and you're supporting that curve by having the block there. So now you can just enjoy the legs in the air and enjoy the blood flow returning to the heart, temporarily reducing your blood pressure, and possibly relaxing your overall body and your mood. So you can stay there as long as you feel comfortable. We can move our feet around while we're there, pump the calves, point and flex your feet. But if you feel like going into a more challenge, we're going to move into plow. So now we're going to continue bringing those legs towards the chest, lift your hips off the block, bring those legs back, and up on the top of your shoulders. Pull your shoulder blades tightly together, push those hips up in the air. Now make that tight fist, and if you want to try shoulder stand, we're going to bring one leg up at a time. Take your time. Push up with your heel. And if you choose, you can support your back, placing your hands up against your spine. Let's take the legs out to the side. Bring them out. And if you can, bend your knees, knees to ears pose. And slowly come back down. Bring your heels to the ground. Bring your arms over the shoulders, stretch that body long. Now the thing you always want to do when you're working with inversions is make sure that if you're contracting certain muscles in the body, you want to stretch them out. So we want to make sure that we grab a hold of our head here and gently pull it away from the shoulders. Get a gentle stretch, drop the head back down, bring the arms over the shoulders here. Continue your deep breaths. And now we're going to attempt a backward bend, okay? Once again, a form of inversion. It's an arm balance pose. So we're going to go ahead and walk your heels into the hips. We're going to lift our hips in the air. And now we're going to slide the heels of our hands under the shoulders. So instead of resting on the shoulders themselves, we're instead resting into the heels of our hands. We can start by just placing the head on the mat and then pushing forward and lifting your hips. Deepen those breaths. And then come down into the mat once again. Let's cross those ankles and roll the hips and breathe. And come back the other way. Now, for those of you that enjoyed being on the block, we can do another modified inversion on the block. You're going to slide your legs down the block, down from the block, so we're stretching the psoas. We're going to push our hands down, lift the chest up, and just rest the head. So we're in a modified fish pose. Then if you can, reach back. And then if you feel you're able to, you can extend your legs from the block. So this puts less pressure on your neck because the block is taking some of the pressure from your body weight. And let's bring those heels back down. Flatten your back. Slide the block out from underneath you. And now we're going to cross the ankles and slowly roll to one side and come up to easy pose. Good. Now that gives you some ideas for what it feels like to be inverted. And I have no idea what you all did at home. But now that we did a lot of inversions, we really do want to traction the spine and do a little twisting today. So I want you to take your arms up in the air and draw your arms right into your ears here. Close your eyes for a moment and just stretch up as high as you can. And now we're going to open the chest to the right. Look back over the right shoulder. And now you're going to slide your left leg in. And if you can, let's stretch around that left leg. We call this a simple bind, opening the chest there. And then grab a hold of that left leg and let's stretch those hamstrings. Push that foot up and just bring the head towards your left knee. Now we're going to bring that left leg down and just stretch that hip a bit. Bring the arms forward and fold. Take your time there. Relax the upper body and just hang in towards your mat. Now we're going to take that same sequence to the other side. So take your right leg in front of your left. Bring those arms up in the air. Stretch long, deep breath in, lifting the chest up high. And now twist to your left side, look back over your left shoulder. Opening the chest as much as you can. And then come back to center, lift your right leg up, and let's try to do a simple bind around that right leg now. Bring those arms around, stretch the chest open there. I'm going to go ahead and grab that right leg and lengthen. Stretch all the way upward to the ceiling. All right, let's bring those feet back together. So when we talk about inversions, we also want to make sure that we understand that as you hold inversions for a long period of time, we're actually meditating into the pose. So we're going to spend the next few moments here in a meditation, okay? So I want you to bring those legs in, roll back into the mat, and then just allow your hips to open. So just take that left leg out to the side, take your right leg out to the side, cross your ankles, and open the chest here. Stretch those arms apart. So it's good to practice meditation without being inverted because we're focusing more on staying in that position and the muscular strength. Here, we're just focusing on relaxing the body and focusing on your breath only. So here we're focusing on breathing in and out through the nose. And we're going to hold each position for 8 slow breaths. And then we're going to transition over to the right side of our mat by lifting the left leg again. But this time we're going to bring the right heel on top of your left knee and drag the left knee over. Bring your right arm straight out from the shoulder. Bring your left arm over your head and just hold that. Back. Eight slow breaths. I'm going to take it to the other side. Come up. Take your left leg over your right and slowly pull that right knee down. Bring your right arm over your shoulder. Hold there. And as we come back, you're going to take your hands out, lift your legs in the air. So those of you that want to stay here can. If you want to use your block, you may do that as well. We're going to move the feet to the right first, both feet, working through the ankles. Then go in the other direction. And if you want to use your block, just feel free to do that. And what we're going to do is drop one leg down and just grab a hold of the other and gently hold in inverted splits pose, breathing deeply in and out through the nose. And switch to the other side. Now on the last exhale, drop both legs down, remove that block, let your knees touch together. And those of you that are still with us today, I want to thank you so much for joining. Namaste. Until next time, just enjoy some more meditation. Keep your knees together, relax your back. Gonna do the chin